Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Capital to the Coast BNI. My name is Mike Manning. Each week, we bring you a local small business success story from one of our 36 chapters covering the Triangle, which is Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill in North Carolina, all the way to Jacksonville and Greenville and New Bern and all points in between. If you're not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. And our goal as a BNI member is to help our fellow members grow their business following one of BNI's systems, which is Giver's Gain. Our local small business success story this week is Jeremy Simpson, owner of JB Simpson Home Inspection. He is the president of Profits in the Park. They meet Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. at Rush Hour Go-Karting in Morrisville. Along with being the president, he holds the home inspector seat. Good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Doing good. Glad to have you on here. All right. So, Jeremy, folks, if you've never visited Jeremy's chapter, he's one of three Simpsons. He's one of two Jeremys. So, first of all, where did the JB come from in your life, and when did you have to start using that in BNI?
Yeah, so the middle name is Brian. And JB's always kind of been a thing off and on my whole life. So JB Simpson Home Inspection was shorter than Jeremy Simpson Home Inspection.
Hmm.
So that's kind of got stuck. And I'll tell you, the rush hour carding or the Morrisville BNI, actually on the Facebook group where you ask for substitutes. I was scrolling it one day, and Jeremy Simpson in the Morrisville chapter asked for a sub, and I saw it and I had no idea. And I said, "Oh, this is happening." So I cleared my schedule and showed up as Jeremy Simpson subbing for Jeremy Simpson.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And in the BNI system, it's funny. Jeremy is Jeremy, then parentheses JB, and then Simpson to differentiate himself from the other Jeremy who goes by just Jeremy Simpson. So it is funny that way. Figured there's a good story to it. Thought it was a middle name, but wasn't sure. So
Yeah, you nailed
uh,
it.
home inspector. So this brings you into people's worlds with their biggest investment. So by law, does a buyer have to have the home inspected?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Completely optional.
Do you get many? Have you heard of many buyers that thought, it looks good. I walked through it. It looks good.
New construction, yes, a
Mhm.
lot. Most of that's kind of project managers leaning them that way because they do their own QA inspections, which is completely different. Won't go down the conundrum on that. Resales, especially in our market in the last few years, it doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Most of if you're buying a resale, once we got through that COVID market, most people are getting a home inspection.
All right. So this is the first time in the show I get to use what I have learned in BNI and what I've learned in BNI, folks. And here's your first tip. All right. Even if you're buying a new build, please call Jeremy because I don't want to disparage any names of any builder because there's a lot of good ones. And like everybody else in business, they're there to make a profit. So they're on a timeline, but there's nobody there responsible for you as the buyer, not their lender, not their builders, nothing, nobody. Not, as they said in The Wizard of Oz, not nobody, not nowhere. Okay. So even if you're buying a brand new build, please call Jeremy, come look at it because he's going to represent you. I promise you, nobody else is. Do you get to do many new build home inspections?
We do a ton. We
Okay.
do a ton. So it's starting to balance out a little bit, but we do a lot more than a lot of inspectors in the area, mostly because we switched that way a lot during kind of the COVID market and kind of saw that coming in that new construction wave. But I tell people with new builds, 95% of the time we're helping with the punch list, and 5% of the time we're finding big, big, major problems. So, worst case scenario, you're having somebody, like you said, that really truly represents you
Mhm.
and who hasn't seen the house every day and kind of walking by the same problems, help provide that builder a punch list to get it as close to perfect as possible. And then if you fall into that 5%, your active leakage and broken trusses and, construction issues and things like that. So there's not really an in between on new construction. It's either really, really good and we're just really helping them fine tune it, or hey, man, they made some really big issues and problems here, but they'll take care of it. They're on the hook. So, no big deal on the big stuff.
Do you get pushback from builders when they find out one of their potential buyers is bringing in their own realtor or their own home inspector?
I used to. And we get them from some of the like big companies from the desk. sometimes. Some of those can get
Oh,
a little, they have weird insurance requirements. And,
mm,
I won't say they try to keep you out. They have a business to run too. But there are some builders, national builders, that make it a little more complicated. I'm fortunate in the area. I have a construction background. A lot of that was new construction as well. And I'm fortunate in the area to have a good reputation with the project managers. They always say they love to hate me. So I'm real picky. I make their life really hard. But what they've learned is, especially when I'm in the same neighborhoods a lot, is a lot of times with these builders, most of the time you get a 1 year warranty, kind of top to bottom, everything but cosmetics, and some include cosmetics. Well, they figured out that the houses we inspect, we might come in there and provide them a punch list, and we find stuff, and they have to all of a sudden fix it before closing. But then they have significantly less warranty calls
mm.
because we did a good job on the front end. So it's like, deal with me now, or die by 1,000 cuts throughout a year. So they don't refer us. I mean, I won't say I've never got referrals from project managers, but they do welcome us. They usually see my truck. They come say hello. We're all on the same team. The goal is to have the buyer have a great house, and to be happy, right? And that's what I try to explain to project managers, is that I know a lot of home inspectors make them the bad guys. We're not here to make you the bad guy.
Mm.
We're here to all protect the buyer and for them to get a great house as much as possible. And that makes everybody look good. It makes the builder look good
Yep.
too, the project manager look good too. So
Yep.
with years of communicating like that, at least in the market that I'm in and the neighborhoods I inspect often, I'm usually pretty welcome on the project manager. There's one or two that don't like to see me pull up.
Yep.
But as a general rule of thumb, I'm pretty welcome. They know what to expect.
Then the other lesson to learn today for people who are buying a new build is that 1 year inspection. So, what role do you play or could play in that?
Yeah, we do them. The sweet spot's 11 months. So we want to come in right at 11 months. And, basically most of the time, and every company's different, but most of the time you have a full warranty. It's covering just about everything top to bottom. And it's a full inspection process. So your house moves as it settles and just kind of finds its space. The first year is when you get the most movement. And then usually around year 7 to 10, you get another
Mm.
shift. So, we can come in and find leakage that wasn't there before that's held up well. Doors that now don't latch and bind, windows that have small cracks or just starting, or they don't latch well, just typical movement stuff. And then how I always start my 1 year warranties, and we do quite a bit of them, is I just start with the person living there. We meet at the door, we have a conversation, and I just say, hey, start with your list first. Take your time, we're no rush. Ask me anything that you want to ask me. Show me anything that you've noticed. You've been here for a year at that point, and then we'll go through their list. I'll answer things and things like that, and if it's applicable, I'll put them in the report. And then we'll go through and we do a full home inspection, just like we did the very first time. No shortcuts. It's a full process all over again. And most of the time, when we inspect it the first time, it's pretty consistent. We either they didn't fix the stuff correctly that we documented the first time, or they did, and we've got a couple of new things. But very rarely do we inspect a house, they fix things, and we come back in 11-month warranty and find new major problems. At that point, it's just again getting as close to perfect as possible. Because after that, it's all on your dime. So,
Now, if they don't call a home inspector
mhm.
at 1 year, does the builder come out and just kind of look over everything? What goes on at that 1 year inspection for the new buyer?
Yeah, so this answer is going to be what they say, hearsay. So this is just feedback I get from buyers, because if I'm not there, I'm not part of the process,
Yep.
right? But from my understanding, at least most of the national builders, the Lennars and the Meritage and the Taylor Morrisons, the names that we recognize, most of those national builders are going to reach out to the buyers and schedule a walkthrough. But the truth is, they're looking more cosmetics.
Mm.
Um, Buyers, generally, when you live in your house, you're looking more cosmetics, unless it's a big problem. Our goal, the sweet spot, is to find the small problems now before they turn into big problems later. People identify big problems fairly easily. And you'd be amazed how many times you catch cosmetics fairly easily. But it's the small issues that if you catch them early, you prevent the big headache.
And for buyers who have moved into a new home, or no, an older home, whether it's 3 years or 30 years, what's the mindset on every window of time having you come out to look at their house? Because, like you said, it settles.
Yeah, so for me, you're talking about, like, if you own it, you live
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, I've been
Yeah,
there a
so
couple years and just wanna make sure everything's working still or
yeah,
looking
we
good.
call that maintenance inspections, and I'm untraditional for the home inspectors in our market. A lot of guys will tell you, "Oh, once a year you need to come in." We're an investment, and that can get, a little pricey. For me, you're not getting a lot of change in a year on a resale home that you've been in. For me, somewhere between like the 3 and 5 year mark is a really good time to get a home inspector come in every 3 to 5 years, somewhere around that ballpark, and just make sure everything's holding up, okay. That way you're not breaking the bank every year. You're also not wasting your time. You know what I mean? If you're
Mm.
living there and the house has been there for a while, it's mostly done shifting. So you're looking for, changes in electric, changes in plumbing, that kind of stuff. And so every 3 to 5 years is probably the sweet spot. So again, just stay ahead of the problems. Let's
Yeah.
find the leak in the crawl space under the shower. Why the subfloor is just wet and it's an easy fix. And instead of finding it, 7, 8 years from now, when we've got massive stuff going on and you're needing engineers and contractors to come out and take care of.
Yeah, and from what another thing I've learned just in general is that most people either don't or have never been in their crawl space, and their attic is used as storage space.
Yeah, I don't mind the Attica storage as much, but one of the things we tell buyers all the time, especially first home buyers or just buyers that really want to be educated,
Mm,
one of the best things you could ever do is go into your crawl space twice a year, once
mm,
during the hot, once during the cold. And if you don't want to crawl your crawl space, the trick, the advice that I give people is to find a small, privately owned, local pest exterminating company. Um, that you're dealing with the same 1, 2 guys every time.
mm,
You're building a relationship with them because that guy, when Patrick comes to my door and does my quarterly service and he crawls in the crawl, if he sees something that doesn't involve him, he's gonna come and tell me. Hey, your moisture levels are high,
yeah,
or hey, you got a small leak, or hey, I found some standing water. And then you need to go in there. So I know not everybody wants to play in the spider webs and the snakes, but if you can get somebody just to go in there, twice a year, you'd save yourself a ton of money long term. And the attic, the same thing. Peek your head in there once or twice a year when you're getting your Christmas decorations
yeah.
down. Just take a flashlight and look around. Just see if you see anything that looks weird or smells weird is probably weird. And that's
Yeah,
kind of the rule when I'm teaching home inspectors, right? So
yeah.
it should, as a homeowner, it should give you pause and make you, look a little harder or have somebody come in and take a look.
And again, we talk about on the show quite often when you have to hire an expert, this is one of those, your crawl space. Trust me, if you have to crawl into it like you're in the infantry in the army, you may
Oh
not
yeah.
want to do that either because you don't want to, or maybe you're too old or stuff like that. So again, reach out to somebody like Jeremy who's an expert and they can help you with that. In general, are you hired through the realtor for the buyer?
Yeah, so what's a great question. This is probably one of the things I like to talk about or educate on most. The buyers are our client, always. That's who we're here to protect. But real estate agents are generally who gives those buyers our contact information. So, as a general rule of thumb, a real estate agent is going to give a buyer, 2 or 3 home inspectors in the area that they recommend or have used before, and just say, "Hey, buyer, vet these or give them a call, look them up, or whatever you want to do." So most of our business comes from agents, but our clients are our buyers. So the agents we work with, and probably the most important thing for them to understand is just that. So is those agents also have to be very genuine and put the buyer first and understand that. And I'll tell you that's why a lot of agents use me because we don't shy around that. There is no like not that we don't care, we want you to succeed, but we don't care about people going to the closing table. We care about the buyer and protecting them as much as humanly possible. And I'm very, very blessed to work with a lot of agents that feel the exact same way. So, there's identify as much as you can identify.
And I've heard stories that agents will, yeah, you probably don't need to put that in the report. That's a big red flag for you, I bet.
That happened my very first inspection.
Oh,
That very first, and it was, of course, the worst scenario you could get. Family friend, his
ooh,
wife at the time was a real estate agent. She was newer. But they get hungry, when the
yep.
market gets down. So the bad apples come out, when desperation shows. And obviously, I won't share any names, but
No.
we were doing an inspection out in the country and it had a well. And, we got in there, ran water, and it was just brown. I mean, it was just
Ooh.
bad. And that was her response is you
Yeah.
can't let the buyers know they're going to freak out, and I said, well, that's not happening.
Yeah.
And as bad as it could have been for her, the buyers happened to walk in the middle of her trying to convince me not to let them know about it. So that integrity came back to bite her really, really quickly. But it's like a lot of the home inspections. You write something like that up, or we found that, and everybody immediately assumes, oh, we're going to need a $14,000 well, and we're going to. No, the well pump had just dropped. It was literally like
Oh,
the whole fix was like $250. I mean, this guy came and lifted it up and said, "Oh, a piece of PVC snapped or whatever it was." It was a long time ago. It was simple, but they literally just lifted the well pump up. The well was fine. It was just pulling from the bottom. It was a vacant house, been there for a long time, and it was an older home. And the well specialist literally just took the pump and lifted it up to where it was supposed to be. And water was crystal clear. They checked it. Everything was fine. Casings were good. I mean, it was absolutely no big deal. But
yeah.
yes, that it doesn't exist in my world. I will tell you full honesty, it doesn't happen as often as you hear about. You always hear
Good.
about the bad. I have probably 2 agents a year that I kind of look at and just say, hey, we're going to get through this transaction because that's what's best for the buyer. We're all going to do our jobs, and then me and you we're just not a good fit for each other. There's other home inspectors out there, but I inspect 600 and something houses a year, so
Yeah.
and work with who knows how many agents.
Yeah.
And so the law of averages. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
very, very minority amount.
And you and the realtor are licensed by the state, so the state might want to chat with you about withholding information because I don't think realtors, well, they're on the hook if they knew about something but didn't disclose it. Is that correct?
That's my understanding,
Mine too. Yep.
especially now. So some of those
Yep.
disclosures have changed. But we definitely are.
Oh, yeah.
We're
Yep.
that's a whole different. We're on the hook if we don't find it, and we're supposed to.
Yep.
Much less obviously if you hide it, and you ought to be.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Yep.
it's you're there to protect.
Yep.
So.
Now, previous jobs, you were an electrician and an appliance repairman. I can assume that that helped you get into starting a business, which we're going to talk to it about in a second. But usually, what I find out is somebody somewhere, a dad, a mom, a grandparent, got you, fixing things and piddling around the house when you were young, right?
Yeah, my brain has always worked that way. Even as a little kid, I was the kid that took the weed eater apart, and dad closed the garage door and said, "You can eat when you get it back together." I was that kid.
Oh,
Everything came apart and took apart. I wanted to see how it worked, and
yeah.
so I've always been kind of mechanical.
Close the garage door, you can eat when it's done. Boy, that
Yeah,
that made your
yeah,
processes a little bit better, didn't it?
yeah. He didn't hold up to it, but it was enough to scare me and have it mostly complete-ish. I'm sure. I don't remember. I was little, but I was always that. I was
Yeah.
always that. So.
And are you a good how often do you have to call somebody to your house to fix something, and do you follow them around if they do something you don't know how to do?
It's rare.
Okay,
It's
okay.
um,
Now do
it's
you
it's rare. We've had once, and my wife kind of teased me about it. But we had once. We were when I was in Benson. The air conditioner and the water heater broke same day.
oh,
And I looked at her and I said, "Which one do you want me to fix?"
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because I don't have time to fix both. So you choose. And she said, "Well, who's cheaper, the HVAC guy or the plumber?" Kind of scenario. But that was kind of our moment of her realizing, like, wow, like, we really don't have repair people come to the house.
nice.
We have maintenance people come to the house.
Yep,
Don't get confused. So I have a HVAC maintenance contract because I know that
yep,
Beasley Legacy, who shout out their BNI and Garner and Smithfield, but if those guys come over and maintain my system for me, it's going to last me a whole lot
yeah,
longer.
yeah. No.
But yeah, we don't have a lot of repair folks come to the
Yeah,
house.
Johnny's good people.
Oh, he's such a great guy.
Your vision. Okay, first of all, let's start with the name. If JB Simpson Home Inspection was taken on the Secretary of State's website, what was the next name going to be?
Oh man, we struggle, man. And I'm such a everybody cares about the name and it's so fun. I could have cared absolutely less. I was trying to build the image for everything, and I probably should care more about brand now, but I have no idea. I have
Yeah,
no idea. I'm not very catchy. That's definitely not my goal. I'm not the artistic type, so I probably call my sister-in-law and have Amanda come up with something cute for me because
Yep.
I no clue, no
Now,
clue. Just like most trade guys,
yeah,
there's a reason you ride around and it's like, Donald and Son Plumbing. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Beasley Legacy Heating and Air. I mean, everybody just
But
wants to ride.
I like the fact that you put home inspection in your company name because a lot of people try to get too cute and they outthink themselves, or they come up with this Greek name that, oh, these are the 17 things we stand for. It's like, no,
Yeah.
dude, you're a home inspector. So just tell people that.
That's very true. The other part of naming it, and for me, and this might sound a little deeper than people would think, but for me, it gives you a lot more the word responsibility. That's my name's on the side of the
Mhm.
company. So like even my guys inspecting, like you know what I mean? Like this is my reputation forever. There's not a oh, we'll just close this name down and come up with another name. I guess you technically could. But everybody knows who I am.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I mean, you're not, when you show up, kind of thing. So it also is kind of holding yourself to the flame
Mhm.
and is a constant reminder of how important that reputation is in business, not just on the business side,
Yep.
but that know, like, and trust on that personal side too. So,
Well,
we're proud of it and we
well,
want to
yeah.
maintain and stay proud of it.
And I'm glad you put your name on it as well. I think that was the best way to go because there's no doubt what they do and who can I call if something went wrong. So, no, I love that part of it. Your vision as you were thinking about starting JB Simpson Home Inspection was both for the business and your life and family. What was the vision?
Mm. Yeah, the life and family honestly was, I hate to be so blunt, but it was mostly income related.
Mm,
I did well, but you know, you want to succeed. For me, at least, the most successful people I knew owned businesses. So it was either I always kind of live by that mantra: you either take a risk or you work for somebody who
mm,
would take a risk. So it was kind of that simple of going, hey, I've got a good mind for business. I'm great with people. I'm fortunate to have a very amazing, supportive wife. There was no question. I'm just saying I'm going to do this, and she said, go for it. But that was the biggest thing, and just to build something for the family over time, and whether that is passed down to the boys or whether it's just the benefits that we receive from it is passed down to the rest of the family. That was it on the family side of it. Everybody says, "Oh, it's to get more time." I don't have any more time. We get to choose the 60 hours a week we work instead of being told which 60 hours.
mm,
But there's no extra time there. But there's a lot of emotion in there, and there's a lot, and the kids get to see it too. I mean, they're invested in it.
mm.
They're proud of it. They understand it. So, there's a lot of that in there. On the business side vision, we kind of realized that when we started really getting into it and decided we were going to do it, we quickly realized that this is people's largest investment, and there's some really amazing home inspectors out there, especially on the technical side and the knowledge sides of things. Um, but honestly, it lacked a lot of human touch, and a lot of communication skills, and at least that was just our observation at the time. I think that industry has pushed forward a lot in that regards, and it's gotten a lot better. But when we were first starting the business, it's like they could find the problems and they could identify them and write them up in the report and take the picture. But when it came time to explaining the problem or what it was, or kind of educating on that side, it was very lacking. So there was just not a lot of human experience there. Not a lot of, what I would consider the right kind of communication there. So that's kind of the path we went and really, really focused in on that.
When you, day one, how did you start telling people you were open for business?
And I'll tell you, so we actually started before day one, and I hate to cheat your question, but about, let's say, 4 or 5 weeks
Huh?
before we started doing the inspections, I started meeting with real estate agents. My pitch was, hey, here's the deal. Because everybody wants to meet with a real estate agent and tell them something.
Yep.
And I said, here's the deal. I'm not even licensed yet. We're not even doing home inspections. I literally just want to know what your pain points are. You know what I mean? Just tell me, my industry specific, where is the struggle? And we got two answers back. One was expected, which is, from some of the agents, home inspectors ruin the deals and they're alarming and don't communicate well and everything's a big deal. I knew that one was coming. That's wasn't a non-issue for me. The one that I didn't expect and was kind of the secret to how we built the business is trade contacts. So what
Oh,
happened, or the feedback I got from a lot of agents was kind of the secret to the sauce was they'll need a plumber maybe 3, 4, 5 times in 6 months. Well, all of a sudden they're that plumber's best client, and that plumber's answering the phone on the weekends, hopping right to all their stuff. Well, just by the nature of business, even if they're doing a ton of business, they might not need that plumber again for a year. Well, and then when they call, all of a sudden they're back all the way down at the bottom of the bottom of the bowl, and their phones aren't getting answered right away. Everybody's 2 weeks out, so they just didn't have that trade contact pool that they could count on all the time. And that was like gold for me because I'm a trade guy, and a lot of my friends are, and I grew up in that world, so I understand that world really well. So our whole business model from the very beginning was to have just the best trade contacts in the area and the best trade relationships in the area, and let those agents benefit from those relationships, and let the trades benefit from the relationships with the agents. The trades were hard to get in front of the agents, and the agents were hard to stay consistent with the trades. So we said, oh, we can bridge that gap immediately. And where's there a whole bunch of trades? In BNI.
and
So
so when you call that plumber, you remain at the top of the list because you're calling him for more jobs and for just for that realtor.
that's part of it, and that's a big part of it.
Mhm,
But I genuinely think because we don't deal with big companies. I pride myself in trying to use small private
mhm.
companies. The joke is that I only refer you or use you if I have the owner's cell phone. Doesn't mean I won't give it out. You've got mine, I want yours. We need to be able to talk to each other. But I think it's more of I can speak their language. You know what I mean? We're not demanding. I understand the construction lingo and how it works, so I can explain things well. But also because I was a trade guy, I understand that like you can't get to it right that second. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
this is how that works, or I can tell you the stuff that I think you might need to bring ahead of time. We schedule a lot of ancillary services, a lot more than most any home inspection company. A lot of trades, HVAC inspections, mold testing, all these extra services we use company for, roof inspections, where Clint from EKS will come out and walk the roof. All the termite inspections, and all these companies. I said, hey, it's really easy. You're not getting scheduled from an agent inconsistently. We're scheduling you directly from me, from the office. You've got my credit card on file. You don't have to chase payment. We'll tell you when we need you there. They'll show up, and it's amazing. You have to give those trades credit because we give them a day. I say, hey, we'll be
yeah.
there Wednesday 9 to 11. Show up then, and the house will be unlocked. We'll be there ready to roll. And it's amazing these tiny little companies. I should say tiny like mine.
Mhm.
Small private companies. They're running 2, 3 guys in the field. They hit those windows every time,
Yep.
no questions asked, because they know they're getting paid. They know it's convenient. They know it's set up for them as well as it could be, and they know it's consistent and they're treated well. Just
Yep.
kind.
And so how many people today, officially or unofficially, are on the JB Simpson home inspection payroll?
Oh, officially, my wife runs the office. I'm an inspector out of the field, and we've got two inspectors that are 1099 subcontractors, technically, which is how a lot of home inspection companies do it. And there's a lot of benefits to that. James, who's been with me for 7 years, who had his own company before he came for me, and then a gentleman named Jacob, who was kind of who we sent our work to when we were too busy, and he asked if he could come work for me. So,
Nice.
and then we would waste a lot of podcast time sitting and counting all of the subcontractors
No,
that we
no. Just looking
schedule out.
for
But
because what I wanted to get to was how neat was it for you to get to that point where, okay, I need another body, whether it's
yeah,
1099 or W-2. That was a pretty good
yeah.
feeling, I bet.
The first time it was a great feeling. The second time, it was okay. We're looking for somebody right now pretty hard, and right now it's man. Is there anybody out there that's a good fit? There's some great inspectors, but like I said, my name's on it, so we're pretty peculiar about the. You know, you've got to be a really good inspector, but you got to be a really good human being, and you've got to
Mm,
be able to communicate. And it's I
yep.
won't say it's hard to find, but it hasn't came across the desk yet.
Mm. What do you know today that you wish you knew week one?
Hmm. Find the best accountants and CPAs you can first, so they can
See,
teach you how
I
to
I love
invest your
that.
money properly.
I love that because that's pouring the foundation of the house is what that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the last thing you need to do is in the summertime be out from 7 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and then come home and have to do your books.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. Well, that and it was a life lesson. The first
Mhm.
time owning a business, it was you pay good money for a good CPA,
Yep.
and then they pay for themselves, twice over. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's one that I wish I would have taken more seriously, and I didn't. I won't say that I wasn't given that advice. It was just, hey, I'm trying to feed the kids, keep the lights on, and find work. I'll deal with CPA when I got money. But that was, I wish I would have done that from the very beginning.
And
Kept
it,
those
yeah,
guys
because the CPA is going to find you ways to save money and probably keep you out of IRS jail.
correct.
And
Correct.
that's good for you because you're out in the field. So today versus say 4 years ago, are you out in the field as much?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, my wife she runs the office now, but that's been a new thing. So we got to the point she had a very successful career in pharmaceuticals, and we got to the point where it was either I've got to pull out of the field half a day um, to be able to run the office, or we've got to hire somebody to run the office. And we talked about it, prayed about it, thought about it, and she was just like, you know what, I'm done with corporate America. So let's just we'll just invest, all of us in this. And so yeah, so I'm still in the field, still the primary inspector, still do more than everybody else. So
Good.
get requests
Uh,
for me a whole
Oh
lot.
yeah, that's a good, but that's a good thing. That says a lot about you as a human being. I think, from what I've learned about small business over the years, is that's almost the ultimate compliment. Is like, I'll wait till next Tuesday for Jeremy.
But yeah, and it
Yeah,
happens. I mean,
yeah.
I have agents, 10 or 12 of them, that'll text me or call my cell phone and say, "Hey, I'm getting ready to put an offer in. How far are you booked out?" That way I know how
Mhm.
far to set my due diligence.
Love it. Yeah.
There's no bigger compliment than that.
Nope. I'm with you. All right. So your wife's name is Rachel.
Yes.
So one of my favorite questions, I've got a business question on Rachel in a second. We'll get to that, but love asking my married guest. So how did you and Rachel meet? And do you both tell the story the same way?
Yeah, probably, probably. We met bartending. She was bartending as she was finishing school, pay for college. And I've bartended since I've worked in restaurants early and bartended on the weekends while I was doing electrical work. So, I had the experience, and so I went and opened a new bar, and I didn't open it. I came as the bartender for a bar that was open, and she came there and worked. So I worked on the weekends, and she worked during the week and on Fridays and Saturdays. So when I'd come in there about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock after work on a Friday, so that's how we met.
And where was the official first date?
The NC State Fair was the first official date.
Nice. Good call.
Yeah.
And when did you know, ooh, I think there's something here?
Oh man, it was definitely a slow and steady. We developed a real strong friendship first, and then that just kind of rolled into everything else.
Right.
So you know, it was probably I don't think it was a such a man answer, but there wasn't like a movie moment of like
Yeah.
ding light bulb, kind of thing. It was more of the the important faces were the same. The family
Mm,
dynamics or the family wants were the same. The you know the moral compass was the same.
good.
All of those things, and then she's just a great time, still a great time. But when you're around somebody 24/7 all the time, you still want to be around them more. That's a pretty good sign. And when your life is changing for the better, the more time you spend with someone, that's usually a really good sign that you're meant to be around them,
All right,
and
so
you
I'm
need
gonna
to
I'm gonna get
take
to
advantage of
that
that.
business side in a second. So, one last question on the personal side with Rachel is, did you have the beard back then?
It was longer. It was longer,
Really?
significantly longer. It actually just got trimmed. So yes, I had the beard back then. I'm fortunate. My wife loves the beard. I cut it
Okay.
off once, came out of the bathroom, and her and my daughter both looked at me and went, "Nope, grow it back." So no, nope, had a full beard. It was actually significantly longer.
Well, good. As long as she knew everything she was getting into, that's all you really want is like, "Hey,
That's right.
this is what you're getting." So, all right, so now I enjoy asking married couples this business question where you both are That's all you do is the business, okay?
Okay.
Uh, at the end of the day, what do you 2 talk about, and who breaks the tie?
Oh, I didn't understand the second part of the question.
Yeah, you
You'll have
do.
to give
Yeah,
me
you
a
do. Let's
little.
start with the first one. I'll re-explain the second one, but you'll get what where I'm going from. So,
Okay. Yeah. So the end of the day, we try to communicate the small stuff business wise in the beginning of the day. So the end of the day, we try to keep the conversations mostly about family and
mhm,
just the house and the runnings and the doings.
okay.
And then if we do have work conversations at the end of the day, it is definitely more long term planning, aspirational. Where are our goals? Where
Mhm.
are our metrics? She really digs into that kind of stuff, which is great. So she'll kind of share the long term. This is where we're at this month. Where do you want to be? That kind of stuff. What capacity do we have? Do we need more, contractors? Do we need this? Do we need that?
And who is more likely to go, "Hey, honey, Imma check my email before I go to bed?" Who's
We
more
both check our email
who
24/7 all the time. We are
yep.
both workaholics.
Are you?
And that has been the same when we first got together. I was doing electrical work and was never home because I was working like crazy and would come home. And when I was home, I was out doing side work.
Oh,
So there is no lack of work, and she has the same work ethic. I require less sleep.
okay.
So I might work a little more hours, maybe. But both of us have always been very understanding of work is work, and there's times
Yeah,
where it needs to be put on silent and not answer the emails, but we're both very guilty of checking emails, taking phone calls. Hey, I've got to miss this. Hey, I've
yeah.
got to do that. We had emergency for work on Friday, and I was off getting ready for the party, and something came up, and it was one of those. I was kind of looking at her, and she was looking at me, and she said,
Yeah.
just go because that's what you do. You got to go handle it. I got to take care of it. Make sure everything is good. Make sure everybody's happy. It'll take you 3 or 4 hours, and you need
And
to come back.
and it would have driven you nuts the whole day being at home,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
and
Yeah,
she, like all good wives, she knew that.
yeah.
It was one of those like, I would have 100% stayed and mopped the floor or whatever it was I was supposed to be doing. But yeah, she knew that. I'll be a lot more present
Yep,
when I'm back if I'm not thinking about that.
yep.
So
Alright,
yeah, we're
so
both guilty of that.
back to the second question, if there's a business decision to be made and the vote is 1 to 1 between the 2 of you, who breaks the tie?
Ooh, a hard question. It'll depend on the subject.
Yep,
I would say usually me only with the business because I was in it first, but
yep,
we usually can talk through stuff and come to some kind of like beneficial both in a compromise. If it's dollars and cents, it would probably be her on the tiebreaker side. If it's operational, it would definitely be me on the like operation in
yep.
the field side. We try to live in our respective strengths and weaknesses. So
And
I trust her gut on
that's
stuff.
generally the answer I get is it because what the beautiful thing about partnerships, and my brother and I had a couple of businesses way back when, and our strengths are completely different. And it's whoever, like with you and Rachel, um, at the end of the day, okay, that's my wheelhouse. I'm gonna take this, and you're like, okay, good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Uh, okay, so this is part of the show, the no overthinking round.
Okay.
Okay, favorite kind of client for you is what?
First time home buyer,
Why?
education first. I'm very education first, and we can impart so much on a first time home buyer.
What is something people assume about your business that is totally wrong?
That we are a enforceable town inspector and that the builder has to do what we say.
Wow, wasn't ready for that answer.
Yeah.
That must have stopped you the first time you heard that from somebody.
It happens a lot. It happens a lot.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah, we're not the town. You have a town inspection. They look at stuff completely different. We overlap a little bit,
yeah,
but the builder has to do what the town says. They're
yeah.
severely encouraged to do what we recommend.
Right. Business owners waste the most time on what?
Overthinking new ideas instead of implementing them, perfecting something that they're wanting to roll out instead of getting a good baseline on it
Yep.
and letting the market help shape the details.
Yeah, because it's like, all right, I'm not going to do this till it's perfect. Well,
You'll
they
never do it.
right.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
but some people, they get was it paralysis by analysis? Yeah, it's like,
absolutely.
"No, man, get 90% and then we'll figure out the other 10%." But
Yeah, the market will tell you what you're doing wrong.
oh, yes. Yep. Love the market, love your client base because your clients will tell you about your business. If
Absolutely,
you listen to them, they'll tell you about your business. So,
absolutely.
if and when they make a movie about you, who do you want to play you?
Oh, wow! Can't believe I'm 40 something years old and never been asked that before.
That's why I'm here, man.
Um, I don't know. We're just gonna name somebody so we don't hold off. It's got to be Jason Momoa. He's got to be the coolest. I want to be that cool
Yeah.
at some point in my life.
And
And he
so
rides motorcycles. He
yeah,
works hard. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
yep.
I'll go with him.
And, so I've told my wife before watching, Chris Hemsworth and Jason Momoa movies, "Sweetie, if I look like that, I wouldn't wear a shirt either."
That's right. Absolutely. It's
I
got to
would
be
not
him. Who else
wouldn't
would
wear
you
a
pick,
shirt
right?
anywhere.
Yeah. Anywhere.
I like that. That's a good one, Jason Momoa. Your work email inbox is organized or chaotic?
Organized, but only because my wife does it for me. Because
Uh,
before her, it was chaotic.
so
Yeah.
before she came to work for you full time,
Yeah.
what did your inbox look like?
It's rough. I get a lot of emails, and a lot of nonsense ones too. So it was in the field during the day, grab the ones that are really, really important,
Mm.
put them in a folder so I know to answer them later, and then never delete the ones that aren't important. So they just stack up for years,
Uh,
decades.
can I
Uh,
assume your truck is buttoned up?
I what?
Your truck.
I live out of it.
That's
So
what I
common
mean.
misconception.
Yeah,
Mechanically, yes.
yeah.
Tools organized, absolutely. Is it spotless? No, it's covered in mud and dirt. And there's currently a screw in one of the tires. I'm on the field all the time. It's just part of it.
But you know where to find stuff. That's the key point.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh
You
yeah,
can't. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can't. You can't tell the client it's somewhere in here. Give me a minute, right?
No, 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 no. Everything has a place. Everything's in
Yep.
its place. Oil stays changed, and tires stay rotated, brakes stay serviced.
What type of house is your favorite to inspect?
Hmm. I don't know. They all have advantages and disadvantages. It's cool to do a really custom modern home every once in a while just to break up some monotony, but they take a while. New constructions are they can get a little monotonous sometimes, even though they're all different. But we do the same floor plan all the time. So for the dollars and cents, anything 2012 or newer on a ranch on a slab is the easiest homes you'll ever do, or townhouses.
Okay.
But it is nice to do a really over the top custom home.
Hmm.
Saunas built into showers, and you get to see really cool new stuff.
What changed the trajectory of your business?
Contacts, just
Okay.
just word of mouth, trust from agents. When we got to the point where agents were referring us to other agents, is
Oh,
is when the business took off, because
gotcha.
that's the golden ticket. Because agents are big about kind of holding the secret sometimes, so you always have availability. But when you get good enough that they're referring you to their counterparts, is when you take off.
All right, so you and Rachel have 3 kids, different age ranges.
Okay.
When you are talking to one of your kids, in your head, are you hearing your mom or your dad saying that?
Oh man, hearing my wife most of the time. Um,
I'll
yeah,
admit.
how they talk. I definitely communicate with my kids more like my dad
Okay.
communicated with.
All right.
But I'm terrible. I talk to my daughter. I mean, we're strict and hold her accountable. But I definitely talk to my boys a little different than I speak to daddy's little girl. So
Yeah.
um,
I
you know,
and again, I told you earlier, I got 4 grandkids, 2 grandsons, 2 granddaughters, and I treat the granddaughters way different.
it's hard. It's hard. To hold us accountable. But dude, there's definitely with the boys, even young. It's like, figure it out. You got it, man.
Yeah, you're fine.
Don't
Yeah.
whine. Use your big boy voice. Talk to him.
Or just rub some dirt on it, get up, you're fine,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I never understood that. I mean, I understood it, but I've never had to put it into practice till Maggie, our oldest granddaughter, came around. Like, I just cannot hug her enough.
Yeah,
And with
yeah,
Oliver, he and I just sit and watch excavator videos and go outside and kick the ball and stuff like that. And Maggie
yeah,
will
yeah.
kick the ball, but oh yeah, yeah. So The daughter son thing is hilarious. Uh, what did you want to be when you were growing up?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I never really had a like long passion dream. I wanted to serve. As a kid, my grandfather was in the service. I wanted to serve in the army as a little kid, and that kind of changed as I got a little older. And then I just got lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do. Was not made to go to college. My brain does not compute that way, sitting still. And I knew that early on, especially at that age. So it was immediate to the trades for me. That was always the goal, was to go to the trades. You can make a good living, good, honest, hard work, and that definitely appeals.
And starting your home inspection company was the right move?
Oh, 100%.
Good.
Yeah, I wish I would have done it 10 years earlier.
Would you have done it 10 years earlier if you could have? Were you ready for it?
No, no, absolutely not. We weren't ready to start it when we started it, which is kind of always the goal, right? It's like we talked about earlier, like you get ready, you'll never do
Yeah.
it. No, no. I mean, it wouldn't have, maybe 2 or 3 years before, but I wouldn't
Okay.
have had the life experience
Yeah.
probably to take the lumps early on.
Yeah.
To really stick it through this first couple of years.
Yeah, it's kinda like kids, you just have them. 'Em, you'll figure them out, but if you try to plan, I know there's like 70 million books written about kids. They really can't explain most of the situations we're in.
Well, they're all different anyway.
I know. Yeah,
Anybody with multiple kids will tell you,
yeah.
like, they're all the same. They're all completely different. They all need communication different. So
Yeah, because all the people before my wife and I had kids were giving me parental advice. Nobody ever told me, "Hey, find out your kid's currency so you
yeah.
understand how the negotiation's about to go."
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. For us, it's just guide them and love them. As
Yep.
long
Oh,
as
yeah.
they know they're loved and
Yep.
as long as you guide them, they'll be fine.
So one goal you want your company to reach by the end of the year is what?
To at least find the next inspector, even if they're not like operational, but find the next inspector. We're
How easy will that be for you?
extremely challenging.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
extremely challenging.
so the biggest
Only
hurt
because I'm so peculiar.
okay. Is the biggest hurdle the lack of inspectors out there, or they just won't meet your standard?
They won't meet my standard on a personal level, probably more
Uh,
so than a work level. I
okay.
can teach you how to be an inspector. That's not, I mean, you can get your license and all that stuff, but I can teach you the small ins and outs of what we do different and make you a better inspector. But the moral compass has to be right, and the communication skills are the most important part. And the communication skills really have to be there. And that's not an overall commanding, personality trait in trade, right? You
Mm,
most of the time your brain doesn't work both
yes.
equally. Yeah, you know what I mean? So if
Mhm.
you're mechanical, you're not always, verbally, exquisite when you
Yep.
talk. Kind of. And I don't need an author, but
Yeah. No,
someone who
I'm
can read people, read personalities, read a room,
yep.
communicate well, that kind of thing. And
Good.
that's a gift that can be trained to be a skill.
Yeah.
But I don't. I've never met anybody who didn't have that gift who just like learned the gift.
Yeah.
People that learned the gift who mastered it, but not who learned
I'm
it.
with
So
you. All right, folks, we've been putting Jeremy's phone number on the screen here. So homeowners, they should walk around their house this week looking for what?
evidence of moisture.
Excellent.
Anything's wet, anything's swollen, anywhere is there, or signs of water is there, that it shouldn't be there. Water and electricity will kill your house faster than everything else. Water, most especially.
All right, folks, there from an expert. We've been putting his number up there. So if you walk around your house and you see some moisture sitting where it shouldn't be, or you look at it today and then you look at it Thursday and it's still there, please call Jeremy. Jeremy, enjoyed having you on the show today. Congratulations on all your success, and good luck with your daughter graduating college. I know that'll be a proud moment for you.
For sure. Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Enjoyed it.
All right, and we'll see everybody next time on Capital to the Coast BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.